Good day, students. I hope everybody is doing great. Our strength is data. Our substrength is data collections, organization of data, presentation of data, interpretation of data, and analysis of what data. We are going to use the bar graph by determining the common attributes, titles, ASOs, and intervals. This lesson has been taken from the new curriculum of Basic 6, Strand number 4, Substrand 2, Content Standard 2, Indicator 2. Bar graph. When we talk about a bar graph, it's a chart that uses bars of equal width to represent data. So when you talk about a chart that uses bar of equal weight to represent data, it means the bars looks like a Kinso bar, let me put it that way. And the width or the base must be equal. The bars supposed to be equal in size. You don't want a situation whereby other bars are bigger than the other. The width must always be the same. How to draw a bar graph? One, ignore the negative numbers of both axes. Then the vertical axis, that's y axis, contains numbers or data of what temperature, percentage pass, number of gallons, number of students, frequency, number of peoples, number of children, etc. The horizontal axis, that is the x-axis, consists of names, minutes, years, months, weeks, days, heights, class, textbooks, subjects, items, marks, etc. There must be equal distance between the bars. So between two bars, the intervals must be the same across. If you are using the 2 centimeter to 2 centimeters intervals, it must be across. 1 centimeters interval, it must be across. The weight of the bars must be the same. The weight of the bar must be the same, which means the size of the bar must be the same. The size, it has nothing to do with the height. The base of the bars must always be the same. The weight of the bars must be the same. The length of each bar is proportional to the number of items in that column. So the height of the bars must be corresponding to the number of items in that column. So if it is 10 in the height, let it be the 10. And then if it is 2 in height, let it be 2. So the height must be proportionate to the number of items in that column. There's no need to go and arrange the numbers from smallest to the biggest or biggest to smallest here. So let it be proportionate. The first one allocated to the second one must also be allocated to. So the bars or the length of each bar is proportionate or proportional to the number of items in that column. Good. Now this is how the bar graph looks like. This is how the bar graph looks like. This one is the 2 bars, okay? 2 questions solved simultaneously. I think the first one here was talking about the ages of people in the class, and then 11 years, the 12 years, 13 years, and then here will be the number of peoples who were 11 years and 12 years and then 13 years. These represent the number of peoples and these are the ages. And then I think here too the favorite subject. Another question here is a favorite subject. So here is the number of people who like the favorite subject, and these are the subject, the names of the subject. These are the subjects. So it's obviously seen that the English only one person, the maths three people, and then the science two. Okay, when you come to the age to explain with this bar graph here, so with 11 years, the three peoples were 11 years, two people were 12, and one person was 13 years. So this is how the bar looks like. Now here, that is the weight of the quad, the bar. They are the same. The weight here must always be the same. Like there's some of the property that you need to consider before you draw your bar graph. The weight here must be the same size, but the height must always correspond to the number of people. Like the number of people here is 3, here is not 3, here is 2. So it must correspond to that. If 11 is allocated to 3, let 11 be 3. If 12 is 2, let 11 be 2. Okay, good. The same thing applies to this. The weight of the graph must always be the same. And then the distance between the two graphs must always be the same. The distance from here to here is the same as the distance from here to here. Okay, the distance must always be the same. Here to here are always the same as this side too. Now, this is the question that you are going to solve. Now you have to write these questions down, because the next slides you might not get what the question is. We are going to solve it, only the solution that will appear over there. So write this question down, and then let's use the question to solve what you're supposed to do. Now the table below shows the total number of items sold by a shopkeeper. Now these are the items in the shop: Fanta, Coca-Cola, malts, biscuits, Milo, and sugar. Number sold, number of items sold, that is the number sold for a day. So Fanta 10 were sold, Coca-Cola 16 were sold, malt 12, biscuit 20, then Milo 14, and then sugar 26. Right. So the A represent the above data on a bar graph. So you are going to use the bar graph to represent this data. And then the B, use the graph to answer the following questions. The BI, what was the least item sold? What was the least item sold? So without even starting with the graph, you can easily answer this one. What was the least item sold? The least item, this is the item, so you want the item name. The least, the smallest item sold. I think that one is malt, because looking at the number of items sold here, that is 12. So the malt was the least item sold. So you can write the malt here. Okay. The least, that's the malt. Okay. Malt, that's the least item sold. Good. Now, what were the most items sold? Now, with this, we can easily determine with this data. Now, the most item, the item that's contain the number of items sold here. Let's check the number of items sold here. The highest number that shows what the item was the mostly sell at the shop. So here the sugar, that is the 26 items sold within a day. So the most items sold is sugar. The most items sold is what? Sugar. Now you have the sugar here. Now What was the total quantity of drinks sold? So drinks sold. Now, when you talk about the drinks, and I hope you know the drink, we have the Fanta, Coca-Cola, and malts. The biscuit, the Milo, the sugar are not drinks. We You may also argue that the Milo is a drink, but Milo is not a drink. We have the Milo drink. That is why we have a specific name for Milo drink. But biscuits, Milo, and sugar are not drink. So the drinks are the Fanta, Coca-Cola, and the malts. So what was the total quantity of drinks sold? It means we are going to add the the drinks items here, which is 10 plus 16 plus 12. So let's add them. So 10 plus 16 plus 12. And then the answer here is what? That is 38. It's 38. It's 8. Good. Now, what is the total quantity of non-drinks item? Non-drinks item. So non-drink item here is what? Biscuit, Milo, and sugar. So you're going to add the biscuit, the quantity of biscuit, Milo. So we have the 20 plus 14 plus sugar, which is what? 26. And that one is equal to, when you add them, get 60. So the 4 at the back here plus the 6 here will give you 10. Remember 1, and then you add it to the 2 here. 3, 4 plus 2, that is 60. That is 60. Okay, good. Now we have done, so left with the bar graph. So let's write the table down so that we can use it to draw the bar graph. Good. Now, before you go to our graph sheet, then or our graph board, let's choose a scale. Okay, we choose a scale here. We have the number of items sold here is 10. You have the 10, 16, 12, 20, 14, 26. So with the intervals, we are going to use the 2 centimeters for the graph lines, but the unit will be 2 units. Okay, so the ratio will be the 2 centimeters. That will be the scale here. The scale that is 2 centimeters to 2 units. Two units. So that is going to be our scale here. Okay, good. So don't forget about the scale 2. Now we have our graph board. So we are going to represent the data that you wrote by using a bar graph here. So without wasting my time, let's stick to our scale that we choose. So the scale that we choose is 2 centimeters to 2 units. So now we have a 0, then you move on to 2. There will be 4, Here will be 6. Here will be 8. Here will be 10. Here will be 12. Here will be 13. 14. 8. Let me look here, 16 here. Here will be 14. 14. Good. Then 18. That will be 18 here. Then 20. We have the 22. Yeah. 24. Then 26. 28. Good. Now, these are the words, the 2 centimeters to 2 units. The 2 centimeters means what, the deep line to deep line of your graph sheet, or either you choose the faint line to faint line. They're all 2 centimeters. And then the 2 units here is starting numbering from 2, the intervals, or the difference is supposed to be 2, 2, 2. That is the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Then here will be the number of the number sold, or the number of items sold. So the number number item sold. The number of items sold, and then here will be the items. So let me write the items here. Here I can use the template. So we have the items here. So we have the items. Good. Now the first item is Fanta. So the Fanta, let me write the Fanta in between this side. The Fanta. Fanta. And then the next one is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. That's the Coca-Cola thing. Let me give a space here, and then with the Coca-Cola malts. Then on the malt, let me leave the same distance, 2 centimeters, and then biscuits. Then let me leave the distance with the biscuits milk. Add the milk here. That's it. And the next one was sugar. So I have to extend my graph here. Okay. I need to extend my graph. Let me extend my graph first. Extend the graph. It's too small. Wait. Now good. I have extended my lines here. So let's stick to the question here. Fanta, the number of items sold was what 10. So you draw your bar. That is 10. So that is 10. So that is 10. You have the 10 here. Okay. So the Fanta is 10. Then you leave 2 centimeters from a deep line to deep line or faint line to faint line. Coca-Cola is what? 15. So the 15, the Coca-Cola, yes, the Coca-Cola is 16, 1 6. So you have the Coca-Cola, which is the 16, but that is the Coca-Cola 16. And then malt, 12. So malt is 12. Start from here, the 12, that is 12. And then biscuits, 20. So the biscuit is 20, and that is 20. Okay. Then Milo, 14. Milo is 14 here. So Milo is 14. Milo is 14. We have done. So Milo is 14. Then sugar is 26. So sugar, which is 26. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now with this one is what? The Fanta, okay? The Fanta, which is 10, okay? So the number of items sold or the number of Fanta sold is what? Is 10. And then this one too is what? Is the Coca-Cola. The number of Coca-Cola sold here is also what? 16. Then the mods, the number of mods sold is also 12. So you have the 12. Then the biscuits, the number of biscuits sold here is 20. We have this one to 20. So I'm only designing the bar, okay? So that it can be readable because per the graph board that I'm using, if I had not designed the graph wall or the bar wall, you'll not be able to see what I've sketched or what I've drawn here. The Milo is 14. The Milo is 14. So in your work, don't go and do this, okay? The Milo is 14. And then the last item sold, the last one here is for sugar. Now, this is how the bar graph looks like. And then you write the title of the graph. The title here will be the words, the items sold by a shopkeeper. So you can write the title, the item, start with the cup. The item sold by the shopkeeper. So you have done. Okay. Good. So thank you for watching. We will definitely meet again.